Hey guys, in today's video, we will have the second part of our tutorial on how to create this drill. Today, we will see how we can create all the details to finalize our model. If you like the content, subscribe to the channel, leave your like and comment here what I would like to see in the next videos. So, let's go to class. So let's continue our modeling now by creating the front part of the drill. With the line, we will create the contour of what our piece will be. With the let modifier, we will create the shape from the line we created. I'm going to enable the flip normal to correct the model's normal. Now we adjusted pivot to the center of the piece. Let's delete the interior and refine this piece. Let's apply a chamfer to these edges. On the front edge, we will apply a double chamfer. The central part, I will reduce it a little and extrude it inward by holding Shift. With the cap, we'll close the hole and complete the shape using the scale, also holding down Shift. Once that is done, let's create the interior to create the drill. We'll select all the face and use detach to separate them from the model. We apply a shell to this mesh and adjust its size. I'm going to increase the thickness a little with the scale. And I'm going to increase the size of this base so that it's combined to the two shapes better. Let's apply a chamfer to these edges to make it harder. We return into the drill, let's convert it to editable poly. We insert a loop closer to the base, and at the tip, let's select an edge, skip one and select another. To complete the entire selection in this way, we use this option here. Now, we delete these edges. We will select these middle edges again by holding Shift. We will extrude the loop we created. With bridge, we will create a face between the two edges. Let's do this around all this detail. Once it is done, we go to Edge Mode. We'll select all the edges, and to close the other space, we use Cap. Again, we select the edges. Now to select the null, we use Select Similar. Remove the front edges that he also selected. With the scale, we will reduce the distance between these edges and then adjust their position further and forward. Now let's add a new edge poly and insert some loops in the middle of this piece with the edge connect. Add a twist modifier. In the axis, we change it to X, and in the angle parameter, we adjusted the twist of the drill. I will use the limit effect so that the twist starts from the base of the detail. I will add smooth to adjust the normals. Again, in the twist, we will adjust a little more. With Open Subdivide modifier, we will check how our model is laying. I'm going to make and adjust to make these cuts deeper. For this, I will disable the modifier and delete the edit poly that we created. Again, we'll add an edit poly. I will select these edges and reduce the scale. I will do the same in this middle line. Again, we'll add the support loops on the model. And the loop in the center of the piece. Let's also add it to the base of the model. Let's adjust this base so that the shape doesn't look strange. To do this, just move it a little, these loops close at the corner. Once that is done, we already have our drill. I'm going to add a very simple detail of the front. And another at the base, which will be a simple cut with the extrude. Now let's create a copy of this piece to refine it. I'm going to change the color to make selection easier. Let's separate this part from the front with the detach. We'll select this face. Delete them. And now we select all the edges except the lower ones. Holding Shift, we extrude inwards and align it with the other edges. In vertex mode, I will select them all and use weld to join the points. We'll check that it hasn't affected the front and move on. Now, we'll select all the edges except the bottom two and the top two and apply a bridge. I will insert a loop in the center and weld these vertices. At the top, we'll join it with target welds. I'm going to add the modifier to soften the shape. Let's make this corner harder. I will use the cap to create this contour up to the base of the model. Let's do the same on the front. With Alt 1, we'll insert a loop and connect the remaining vertices. We add support loops to these edges. Here, we'll see that everything is working fine, so we continue. Let's create the knots now at the bottom. I'm going to adjust this line a little lower. We select this face by holding Shift and extrude forward, and then we align it with these vertices. On the sides, we use target weld to join the vertices, and the same in the other sides. Now we will add support loops to make the hardest edge. I will apply a chamfer to these edges to make it rounder. We will delete all the edges and connect the points correctly. With cuts and insert loops, we create the topology so that it's working correctly. Now let's use symmetry to mirror the shape. I will change the color to make it easy to see. Here, we will adjust the thickness of the bottom. I will select these edges and drag until it matches the top. We will add support loops to maintain the corner. On the other piece, we'll do the same. I will adjust these loops, leaving it closest to the edges, and finally, I will add symmetry to this piece to mirror the shape correctly. Once this is done, we will now create details in your model. I will start by separating this face to create some tools in this part. I will use ring and connects to insert new lines. Then we'll select them all and remove these ones we don't need. Let's use create shape. Here, we'll see that the lines need to be a little lower. First, let's remove these points that we are not going to use. Now, we select only the points closer to the edge and go down a little. I will enable the visualization and delete the points that we aren't going to use. At these points, we use the fillets to smooth the curve. In sides, I will use the values of 6. Returning to the back piece, we will create the details of this piece. We will separate the front part with the detach. Let's close this hole by holding Shift and Scale and finally collapse it. I'm going to add 2 support loops on the edges and create one more hole now on this face. Again, we add support loops at the edges. In the front piece, we will connect the points, delete some edges, and then collapse it. At the back of the piece, we will create some loops with scale and finish with collapse. Now we select these edges, apply a chamfer and then extrude to create the cuts. We add support loops to make the edge hard. The same on the back of the piece. Here we'll see that there is a strange beak. Let's solve it by decreasing the scale on the y-axis with the 2 vertices selected. Once that is done, let's now create details on the front piece of our model. To create this detail, we will add a new loop with Alt1. Now let's leave in the Open Subdivid modifier in 1 and add a new Edit Poly to working with this mesh that has more polygons. Here we will organize this mesh better. To create the details, I will use the rectangle to base and will apply a fillet to round it off in the edges. We adjusted it according to the reference. Position it correctly and apply a shell to give thickness to this piece. Let's delete some vertices to make this part lighter, the same at the bottom. Now, we can use the Boolean in the split option to create this cut in the mesh. Let's delete this face and also the interior to just have the correct mesh. What we're going to do here is fill mesh correctly. We are going to use target weld for this and the cuts to fill the empty shapes. Let's continue connecting the points with the connect of vertices. Here, we'll add a new loop so the mesh doesn't get too stretched. And we continue filling the shape. We will adjust the distance of these points so that they are more uniform around the hole. Here, I'm going to remove these edges and insert a new loop to maintain this curvature above the details. As we can see, it needs to be adjusted. Let's bring it a little further forward following the curvature of the model. The same with these vertices. And now we connect the points and adjust the end barrier or our mesh. Let's do the same inside the piece, connecting the points with vertices connected. Now we apply a chamfer to keep the edges hard. Now let's use detach to separate this face from the sides to create a detail inside the hole. I will change the color and apply a shell to give it thickness. Again, we apply a chamfer to the edges and insert 2 support loops. Once that is done, let's create some details now in this piece. I'm going to do smoothing very simple. Let's create a new plane. Let's delete these vertices and adjust so that there is a combine in this part of this piece. Now, with the connect of edges, we create these lines and we use create the shape. With the lines, we adjust the parameters. I will use it's a rectangle and adjust the width, thickness and the angle of the details. I will use the symmetry to mirror the details on the other side. Now let's create a sphere. Adjust its position and create some copies. It will be our detail of this piece at the bottom. Let's unit them into a single object. Adjust its position and also apply a symmetry. As we have already created a sphere at the bottom, I will create some circle instead of the small points in the reference. Use your creativity to create the details however you want. I'm going to create some copies. I'm going to leave them in hive shape. I believe it will work for this model. Let's position it on the sides of the piece. We apply a shelf to give it thickness and adjust its position. I'm going to create some more copies to make this drawing more interesting. I will apply a chamfer to soften the edges and away the normal to correct the normals of the detail. Finally, we will mirror the shape with symmetry on the z-axis. Remember to raise the normal weighted above the symmetry modifier. Here, the models are almost ready. I'm just going to improve a few things. I will create a shape with this loop to serve as a gizmo to rotate this detail of our model. In this piece, I will delete this face I will create them again by holding Shift and extrude it as edges. I'm going to select the center line of the piece and create a chamfer and then extrude to create a center cut like we did on the front piece. Here, you can use your creativity to create much more details in this model. I will stop here. I hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time. Bye! Subscribe to the channel, it's very important.